But again, I have to excuse some of the background noise. I'm currently in an underground car park, not watching it in my regular cinemas because I really do not want to pay premium prices to see this. I just got out of I'm a little bit conflicted on this one. For the most part, I thought this is a really entertaining film, but it's not a good film. Okay, it's not a great film. It's kind of decidedly average, honestly, but I guess I'm not the target audience. I mean, I was the target audience 25 years ago, but I will say this movie was better than it really had any business being, is the best way I can think about this. It's got a lot of heart. I'll be really honest, I'm going to be very critical here. I think the thing that really brings this movie down for me is Jim Carrey. All the Sonic stuff I really enjoyed. All the Carrey stuff made me want to kind of punch something. I guess one of those things where I've got a bit of a unique perspective on this, in that well, I'll say unique. I mean, I guess I got the same perspective as a lot of people my age. I was a Sega kid back in the day, even though I've cosplayed as Mario. I hated Mario back in the day. I was a Sonic kid. I love the series. I've got the games. I love the TV. I even love the shitty TV series. It was shitsy and fun. So, kind of arrogant dick Sonic is kind of a known quantity. But I think Sonic has always been at his best when he's still a bit of a jerk, but is a jerk with a heart of gold. He's a good flawed character when they've done it right. Like the more dramatic TV series, I can't remember what it's called. I think it was like Sonic X or something like that, where it actually dealt with like Sonic as a freedom fighter. That series was just brilliant. I think that's my biggest problem, is that Sonic as an entity, as a franchise, as a property, has not been dealt with well for the last few decades. The more they kept trying to edge up Sonic, the less I got interested. The last game I kind of tried to play, like more than just picking it up, went, wow, that was crap, and putting it down, was probably Sonic Adventure 2 on the GameCube. And that, as it got on, like the Sonic levels were great, the Knuckles levels were okay, and the Tails levels were shit, and kind of then you got the swap, and it's not a review of the games. This movie also, one of its biggest crutches is that it also just feels like a 90s film that someone's made today. It feels like this script was written, kind of maybe this script feels like it was like maybe written like around about the same time, say like Sixth Sense, or the early Joel Osment years. It feels very tropey. But what it looks like as well, it feels like someone's tried to give it a Lord and Miller polish on top of it. Like, nothing specifically lands this movie in the modern day, except for like maybe the inclusion of the cell phones, and it feels like they were trying to keep it as 90s as possible. So not many modern references except for like Sonic. The thing that was really kind of jarring is because in the trailers it felt like it was presented like Sonic had just arrived on Earth kind of thing. So when in the back monologue, he refers to Robotnik as having a Civil War mustache. It's like, well, how the fuck would he know what the Civil War is? And then you find out he's been on this planet for a while. And that's another video gamey trope. Taking something that was clearly on another planet, another world, and bringing it to modern day Earth. That goes all the way back to the Masters of the Universe movie. That's what I mean. This movie is very tropey. I'm honestly not sure if you weren't a fan of Sonic, I'm not sure how you would respond to this movie. As a fan of Sonic, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the Easter egginess of it. I'm really still not sure it's a good film. I think it's an average film. This is an objective versus subjective view. Even subjectively, I don't think I could give this a great rating. I enjoyed myself, but it's not bad enough to be interesting, but it's not great enough to be something you want to keep watching again. I don't know if I want to do which one I want to do first. The bad, because I usually do the bad stuff first when it's a great film, and the good stuff when it's a terrible film. I try to do those first, just to give it as much as a benefit of the doubt. I think I'll go with the bad stuff first, because I think that's the easiest thing to talk about, and that's pretty much Jim Carrey is. When I say this is like very 90s film, this is like someone basically went to Jim Carrey. Hey, remember how you used to make all these things 30 years ago? Just do that. We're not going to bother you with a script. Just be the most dumbass fucking goofball you can be. And I do think Jim Carrey is a great actor, but when he's just being over the top, it just was fucking irritating in this film, to be honest. When Carrey's being menacing, it works very well. When he's being over the top menacing, like when he's just belittling people for no real reason, shit like that, that's when it starts to lose it for me. The portrayal is less, I'm the world's smartest man and I just treat people like garbage because they're on my level. This is like, I want to tell you I'm the world's smartest man and you should bow before me by this information. But he doesn't really portray anything that makes him feel smart. He just feels like an arrogant dipshit. And I think he really does actually lends credence to his intellect. He just shouts out a big words and acts menacing. It's almost that thing of like, the people who know his power like succumb to it, like the government and his agents. But it feels more like they're belittled by the prestige more than the actual character, and then everyone else that doesn't know what the fuck this guy is just basically just treats him like the asshole he is. Does lead to some really good moments between him and Tom Wachowski, who is I always blank at his name, James Marsden. The conflict between those characters is interesting, because it's just like the one guy is like, I'm not going to take this shit from this asshole, but it's the bully to become the bully trope. There is some fine, funny moments, but for the most part, it was just too over the top to be really good. And I know Robotnik's a bit of a character, but the thing is, in the games, Robotnik wasn't comical. In the cartoon, he was, but everything was kind of ramped up for the comedic effect. And in other portrayals, Robotnik is kind of sinister, and in the original one, he's this big fat guy and his outrageous mustache and stuff like that, but he wasn't a buffoon. I think that's why I really don't like this portrayal. It's just Jim Carrey being a buffoon. It just didn't work for me, and this is where I'm gonna have to start talking about the contentious part of this entire movie. You can't avoid it. This is the elephant in the room. A big deal was made about the character design of Sonic, because it was fucking horrible, and that the studio basically went ahead and they got the animators to reanimate, and for their efforts they got fired. The thing is, people tend to put this shit on the animators. It's that thing where everyone scapegoated the animators in a lot of cases. People kept talking about the animators. Oh, the animators finally did a good job. Where it was these animators don't decide on the fucking concept design. That's the concept artist, and the concept artist has to get that shit approved through the director and the producer and the studio executives. It's not one person making that decision, and I bet you every single fucking person that made that terrible decision currently still has their high paying job. That being said, the redesign does look really good. I will say that, but there's also some really kind of shit special effects in this. Here's the thing. Hair. This stuff here. To make they made Sonic's quills almost act like hair to wind. So he's standing still. and his hair's doing this the entire time. The thing is, it's happening in a car. Okay, there is wind from that. The problem is when you switch to James Marsden and his hair's static. It's not moving. And that hair effect is happening no matter where it's turning. If it had been probably a bit more subtle, like, or if it's when Sonic is moving, and when he's just static there, his hair's barely moving, and he's just doing this. And it looks really creepy. I get they're trying to get an animal thing, but the problem is that it's also the fact of the quills also kind of have this hair-like quality, but the movie also established that the quills are also kind of solid because they're quills. And never mind, there's a lot of particle effects in this. It's really bad. The effect on the leather bag full of... There's a shot where this leather bag full of the MacGuffin lands on a roof. That's it. It's a leather bag. But it's a CGI leather bag and it looks terrible. There's a lot of shots in this which could have been done practically, and it wasn't. It was just on CG, and it's that thing where they sunk all the budget on the fucking animal and then didn't bother to do anything else, or at least give the polish or anything else. It's kind of what they did with Detective Pikachu to a certain degree. They spent so much time on Pikachu and some of the other effects budgets which could have just done with a little bit of polish. Just wasn't there. Like there's like an explosion and it uses it as a dissolve to kind of, and it just looks really bad. It just looks so bad. I want to talk about the things I actually really enjoyed. It was a well-made movie. As I say, it's very average. It's a well-made movie. I do think the cast really did give it a lot. Well, and in case of Jim Carrey, too much. Like even the voice cast for Sonic, I think it was that thing where they knew that if they had too much in it, it would be freaking annoying. So I think they just tried to keep that level up as much as possible and not make it too obnoxious. And I think they really got that right. And James Marsden as the straight man worked well. It's just an average film. It's an average film. It's alright. Everything was kind of good. But overall, it's just an average film. There is sequel hooks. If this had been the original horror mutation of a film, I wonder how much of this dialogue they've changed as well. I wonder how much they've toned it down. I remember even the dialogue in the original trailer was just absolutely obnoxious for Sonic. So it's something where they couldn't really do much for the human actor stuff, but I reckon they changed Sonic. But there's definitely there's basically two sequel hooks in this in the credit roll, because of course they got to bring back Robotnik. That was obvious because of the trailers kind of revealed. They were so desperate to make people sure that he's going to look like Robotnik. He's going to have the bald head and a crazy mustache. So they teased that in the trailer. But there's another sequel hook which I won't go into. But if you're a Sonic fan, you know who it's going to be. I think that's pretty much it. I don't really have much to say. I'm trying to give it a score because 7's too high, but 5's too low, and 6 just doesn't feel right. I'll probably give it 6.5 out of 10. As I said, it's a very average film. I did find it entertaining, more so than I thought it's more so than I think it deserved to be. I think they might have realised, oh shit, we've probably done goofed here, and I think they used that because while people were complaining about the effects, I think they used that as an excuse to tone the movie down on the obnoxious Sonic stuff. That's my read. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 6.5. If I was going to give it any score, that's about it. 6.5 out of 10. It's all right. I didn't hate it. I hated Jim Carrey, but I didn't hate this film. I did get emotional at points, mostly. As I said, the Sonic stuff's brilliant. The Robotnik stuff really tore it down. And on the major plot and everything, it's just tropey, predictable, and really average. I'm sorry, there's no bombshell here. I know some people are praising the hell of it. It's not a 10 out of 10 film. No stretch of the imagination. No, it's not. It's not a 10. It's not a 10 out of 10 film. I think I enjoyed Pikachu better on the whole. I think even then that was very tropey as well. I think on the whole, I think I might have enjoyed Pikachu better because at least I didn't want to like tear my own fucking eyeballs out when Jim Carrey got on screen. Although I guess technically Robotnik was a better villain. Yeah. Would I recommend you to go watch it? I don't like encouraging studios for making terrible decisions, even if I backtrack on them. I honestly don't think I'd recommend this going to the cinemas. This would be a great movie night movie with a bunch of video game friends, and you want to watch a fun, cheesy film. I wouldn't recommend it for anything else. It's not cinematic enough to really deserve a big screen release in many ways. Actually, the small screen might actually help hide some of the kind of dodgy effects. Yeah, that's probably the best I can do. I'm debating about going seeing I said I'm not seeing Birds of Prey yet. I might go see that later on tonight. So this could be a 2 movie day. I'll have to go and see. See ya.